The Bite Me podcast is coming right up, and it is brought to you every week right here on YouTube by Freedom Boats. It is the best shallow running boat on the water, and there is a model perfect for you. The Chiquita 14, the Eagle 16, the Patriot 18, the Commander 21, the beautiful Warrior like I have 23, or the big boy that runs so shallow, the General 26. Chet Moore and Pooty can customize it however you'd like, and there's a dealer near you, whether it's the Boatyard in Kemah or dealerships in San Antonio, Beaumont, Corpus Christi, Port O'Connor, Houston, and Aransas Pass. Freedom Boats or freedomboatsusa.com. All right, going to be an eventful Bite Me podcast today. I can guarantee you that because Captain Caleb McCumber is actually still on the water. We'll see how long he can last with us. You're getting good views if you're on the live YouTube stream. And I know some of our listeners are going to go, wait, where is that? And they're going to press pause. They're going to go back and they're look at the pictures and try to figure it out. But that's neither here nor there. I'm John Lopez. That is Captain Caleb McCumber. That is Captain Dean Thomas, Captain Scott Null. He's on some fish too. And he's coming in hot on the podcast. Should be here just about any moment. You guys always appreciate you. And I mentioned that Caleb's on the water. That's because he's catching some fish. I mentioned Scott is coming in hot. That means he's catching some fish. Captain Dean, we're going to get his thoughts on what he's done here in the last couple of days and some great topics. And shout out, I did this on the group page. Shout out to all our listeners, man. They were flooding in this week. It was really cool. All kinds of questions, all kinds of topics. I can guarantee you we probably will not get to all of them today, but we will get to some good ones, including Galveston. That's on me. We didn't get to Galveston last week when we were talking about some of the things, the cold and the wind and the weather changes and the tides and everything we're doing. But I really do have to start here. Not necessarily fishing related, but certainly Bite Me podcast related. If you've been listening for any amount of time whatsoever, you know that I don't know if it's a hobby or if it's a buy-in, but Captain Caleb McCumber is fascinated with flat earthers. And I got this sent to me this week. So it does have a little bit, sort of adjacent to fishing and adjacent to the podcast for sure. The Columbia CEO, Columbia Sportswear, we are all familiar, issued a challenge to some of these flat earthers out there. I'm going to play it, and then I'm going to talk about something else.
I'm so excited.
He basically went on to say that he was going to issue a challenge to anybody who are the flat earthers, so to speak. If you could prove it, if you could go to the end of the earth and take a picture, he will give you his company. $3 billion company basically said, if you can send me a picture of the end of the earth, I'll give you my company.
I'm gonna sweeten that deal. I'm also gonna give you my company.
That's right.
I'll give you my company as well. But look, because you cannot go to the edge. It's proven that there are demonic penguins that are protecting
military penguins that are employed by NASA. And there's that many of them surround the whole earth. I'll throw something at you. They did this last year. It was called the final experiment, I believe it's called.
Mm-hmm.
It's a multi-hour long YouTube video. Mm-hmm. And this billionaire somewhere went and found like the 5 leading flat earthers that are on YouTube, because every time a flat earther says do your research, what they mean is go watch this guy on YouTube. That's how they do research.
Yes.
So they took all 5 of them and they set up a camera that recorded the sun for 24 hours a day to prove that it never went down there. They set the camera up and they put it on a special thing that tracked it. They tracked it for I think 72 hours. They put the camera on the sun. Then they put a camera on the camera. Then they put a camera on the camera recording the camera. And then they put a camera on the camera that was sitting on a live stream to the computer. and these guys get back home and they're like, man, sorry, fellas. Hate to tell y'all, but this wasn't right. Yeah. And the entire flat earther community who referred to them as do your research disowned them all and accused them of, quote, being part of it.
Well, the reason you got in my head, and I was so frustrated, I was mad at you, Caleb, is because by listening to the Columbia Sportswear CEO issue this challenge, this $3 billion challenge, it sent me down the rabbit hole, man, it sent me down the rabbit hole, and this is what this is the last place I landed.
We are all brought up, taught that we live on this tiny little rock that's covered in a little bit of water and smoke. We're flying through this impossible vacuum of space. We're saying that we live on a flat, enclosed world that is basically, you're basically living in a big soundstage with walls and a floor and a ceiling.
The Truman Show.
The Truman Show. Yeah, very, very, very similar. That is so big that even our best and brightest didn't figure it out until about 1960. And when they did decide to keep it a secret, the really, really short version is you don't live on a globe. This is what it looks like on the outside. That's what it looks like on the inside. There you go.
So why don't we just fall off the edge?
For the same reason, the space asteroid question.
Oh, he's pissed.
Yeah. So for the same reason why you don't fall off the edge here. Antarctica is the only continent that doesn't look like anything else. All the other continents in here look perfectly fine. Antarctica, though, and it's not necessarily an ice wall, it's just Antarctica. It's really, really, really high continent.
So you think Antarctica goes all the way around?
Yep.
So where's the North Pole?
North Pole's in the center.
North
Pole's
Pole's
in the center. South Pole doesn't exist. Compasses don't work down in Antarctica. Most people don't talk about that. The Antarctic Treaty says that no corporation in the history of the world can set up shop down there forever.
What's outside?
Oh, that's a tough one, isn't it? Well, I mean, because
no clue.
Well, I mean, if you can't get outside, you're not going to know for sure. But I mean, I don't think, my personal opinion is this isn't a one-off. There's not just one of these. There's more.
So,
dude, I'm telling you, I can't believe I went down this rabbit hole. I was so mad at Caleb.
I'm raising my hand.
You're gonna come next. You're gonna come on next. But when I heard that, and by the way, Captain Scott came in the middle of this flat Earth discussion, thanks to Caleb. We will get to all our fishing topics. But you know what I left with, Caleb, and I'm gonna let you go first. These people have driver's licenses. These people vote.
No, you missed a key thing in there that didn't even startle you. They said it took the best and the brightest to figure this out. The best and the brightest got Cheetos in their belly button. And he's full of crap. There is a South Star. It's called the Southern Cross. It's the equivalent to our North Star. And that's where I end every conversation. Okay, so if you look towards the middle of the Frisbee, that's the North Star, right? Yup. And if you look outside in any direction, that's south, right? Yup. Then how does everybody see the Southern Cross? Well, that's fake. It is not fake. How do you think they sailed in the Southern Hemisphere?
So basically, if you're new to the Bite Me podcast, I can't wait to hear Dean on this. You're next, Dean. We talk a lot of fishing. We help a lot of people, but also go on these tangents. And I wanted to start with a tangent because I was so mad at Caleb I spent almost an hour listening to these dummies. Go ahead,
spent
Dean.
3 years.
Who's the dummy now?
Yeah, no kidding.
I will stoop to anyone's level immediately. All I need is a stimulus.
I will give my business to anyone who can deliver me a demonic penguin from the ice wall.
That are employed by NASA.
Easy.
Dead or alive. Dead or alive.
Dead or alive. Just demonic NASA issued penguin.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, these people walk amongst us. But hey,
there's people in our chat right now that are going, you know what, I'm not going to say anything.
But they are the best and the brightest.
They are the best and the brightest. Scott, I got to get to you on this. Obviously, a very pensive man, a very thoughtful man, does his research, so to speak. I was just dumbfounded. Listening to Caleb as he talks about flat earthers on this podcast occasionally, and then I went down that rabbit hole. I mean, my jaw was literally open. I mean, I was like, this is real. They really believe this.
Is this why I tried to get you on the phone twice at 9:30 and neither time you answered?
Maybe.
Yeah, they're out there, man. They walk among us. I've run into some of them. There's way more of them than you think.
There's a lot of them
listening to this, and we may have just lost a dozen or so listeners.
I hope it's just a dozen.
But, yeah, hopefully it's just that.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing to them is always, who is they?
Yeah, who's they?
They don't want you to know. They're hiding it. They've made all the. You know how hard it is. I mean, when I was working in homicide, we always said 3 people could keep a secret if 2 of them are dead.
Yeah.
And that's about the way it, so who is they and how in the hell did they orchestrate this whole thing for generations?
I love
To
when they
continue
say,
on with nobody saying anything.
I heard another one, and I know
Well-
you've heard this, Caleb, the generals are making sure nobody knows that. What? The generals? There's
That's why Trump fired them.
maybe.
No, but take it one step further. No good flat earther believes that you can even go to space. So they believe that a direct TV satellite dish is suspended on a weather balloon. They believe that if you don't believe in flat earth, you're not a Christian. It goes on and on and on. It never stops.
You're gonna
Well,
make me look this up now, man.
We're not going to go on and on and on this. It was just, I had to get this off my chest. I was like, the whole time I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy. Damn that Caleb. Damn that Caleb. But
I can send you some links.
I don't want them. I don't want them. But before we let you go, and I know you're on the water and you're catching fish, and you're gonna boogie here in a minute. I do want, by the way, C. Young says, I work at NASA. I'll check our supply for penguins tomorrow, Dean. So you'll find out. But you guys are catching fish, man. We'll get to Scott in a minute, but Caleb, you have been on them. What's been going on? This is a kind of an impromptu where they are, what they're doing, what they're seeing.
Well, report from the field right now is I've got two schools of reds in front of me. But no, man, the tide dropped some, not a whole lot. But this cool down in water temperature, I've always said it, I like it in the 60s. Started out this morning at 57. We're probably 63 right now. And when that happens, these schools, there you go. These schools,
live on the podcast.
Yeah, he's got a hammer. These schools, they tighten up when that water gets cold. That's what we're finding. It's school after school of 8 to 10 fish. And we have a bunch over 8 and 9 pounds right now.
Yeah.
But
Caleb literally climbing down his tower to get the net.
Hey, I'm going to get the net. But, really what I keyed in on is this high barometer. It really gets them going.
All right, we're going to let you go, man. Actually, let's go to Scott and let's see the final product for those who are on YouTube if you do land him. So, Scott, you also have been on some fish. This is a good day, huh? You're muted.
Get out. I'm muted because the dogs went nuts. They were listening to Caleb and they started going crazy. Now
it's hard.
It was a little slow in the morning. Yeah, first thing in the morning it was 44 degrees down here this morning, and water temperature is pretty cold. And but we had a falling tide all day, and that warm water from the backwaters where the sun had been sitting on that mud all day started piling out, and fish started moving up on the flats. And we had a bunch of good fish that were just cruising around. We didn't have the schools like he's got, but had a bunch of big singles, very willing, good fish.
So, Dean, you've been on them too. It's been a hot day.
Well, and I'm glad these boys got them today. I did fish this morning, and we kind of struggled here on the flats today. The weekend, Saturday and Sunday, was just, and even Friday, I had some buddies that were out Friday, and the shallowest flats were just loaded with tailing fish, cruising fish. The tide was ultra low Friday and Saturday. It started creeping back up. Today it was much higher, still low. Where the shallowest flats are very difficult to run on. You got to really be careful. Yeah, you got to be careful pretty much everywhere right now because all the sandbars that border the intercoastal, the little cuts getting in and out of the flats, the sandbars are under like 1 inch of water where you just can't see them, but they're there. But Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it was on fire here. Tails, beautiful fish blowing up topwaters, soft plastics, really all of them. The one cool thing that has really happened is that there are speckled trout, a lot of large trout on the grass beds with the redfish. They're not easy to catch. They're not going to be aggressive like the redfish. It takes a perfect cast. It takes a real stealthy approach. But if you can see them before they see you and get a really good cast to them, they will pick it up. They just don't come charging.
They don't hammer it
like the redfish will. And they're super sneaky. they're not easy to catch. But watching them swim around after it's too late it's good. It's cool to see them. But yes, there have been some really nice 26, 27-inch trout caught, seen, and they intermingle on the same flats where the redfish are.
Dang. So Caleb, did you land it?
Well, see, here's what happened.
Okay.
That one is probably 31, 32. I give it somewhere between 13 and 15 pounds. But these guys have fished quite a bit with Scott and Dean. And when we got out here this morning, I'm like, hey, look, there's a school. Let's go catch them. And shit couldn't have went more sideways. It really couldn't have. And we broke off all kinds of stuff. And I figured after fishing with Scott and Dean, these guys would be used to catching big redfish. But apparently this is a new situation for them.
Blame the clients. It's them. It's not putting them on the fish.
I've been waiting all morning to say that.
All right, Caleb, we're gonna let you go, man.
See you, buddy.
All right. Oh boy, well, we do have a lot to cover, boys. Glad that was a little hectic start there, but a good start.
Wasn't as hectic as my start.
Oh, what happened?
I stepped out of the truck and the dogs are running around doing their thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, man, what is that noise? Sounds like something's leaking. Odd noise. Maybe the propane's leaking. Something busted the propane line. I mean, it's weird noise. The truck was still running.
I know that sound.
I turned the truck off and I sat there for a second. Camille was outside and I said, get the dogs, get them in the house. She said, what? I said, that. She goes, what is that noise? I said, that's a rattlesnake somewhere.
Oh boy.
Right there by the porch, about a 4 foot or so. As
I have been tricked by that same sound where I walk up and it's like, where's the air coming from? When they get extremely alarmed and they rattle at that rate, at that pace, it sounds like you took the valve stem out of a tire.
Oh,
exactly.
And so
and I heard it as soon as I stepped out of the truck, I was like, oh, I know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I got to go find it. And I located it.
Good.
He has been relocated.
Good. Good. Dang, man, this is one of the most eventful starts we've had. Yeah.
Man, and Scott has history with
the last thing,
the venomous snakes for the wrong reasons.
Was it 2 years ago, year and a half? You got bit?
3 years now.
Okay. Yeah, you didn't. The last thing you needed was another emergency room.
Yeah, I ain't doing that again.
Trip, that's for sure.
It gets 1 star on Yelp.
Yeah. All right, so and we're being very timely here. A lot of stuff that's happening now. Talked about the fish you were catching. All three of you guys did. Let's talk about the fog. Got a great question, and it reminded me of you, Dean, because you guys were sending me pictures this weekend. I mean, it was a wall. It was one of those that we've all been in. It was just an absolute, maybe 20 feet, you can see something along those lines. But let me read the question real quick, because I think there's a lot there that we can kind of unravel and unwrap. It was listener Grant sent it to me. Wanted to run this by you real quick. Super foggy, 6 exclamation points. We did okay. Then he talked about the fish. He said, what happens if a boat appears in front of you coming at you? Is there a rule or a guideline to avoid collisions? I mean, if we both turn the same way, it's the same result. Should I have not gone out? There were a lot of boats out and I had no issues, just curious. And when I mean bad, I'm talking less than 50 yards of vision bad. Dean, I'm going to start with you because I saw your pictures and I know Scott dealt with it too, but we haven't dug in on fog and it's fog season, if you will.
It was a whiteout completely. And it is probably the most dangerous thing you can run around in there. I mean, we talk about storms and lightning and all these other things, but you can see storms coming. You can run away from storms. Can't really run away from lightning, but the man, it's just the only reason that I attempt things like that and I stay completely in my backyard. I'm never gonna go any further than the first obvious place to fish. You're not going to run and explore. You're going to go slow, and you're going to be very cautious and listen to the noises around you. And if you don't have experience, and if you don't know precisely where you're going, and if it is not like in your backyard style of fishing where you have ran, it's not a good choice to go. I mean, and the thing about fog is fog generally doesn't last all day. It doesn't last all morning. And that morning when we went out, I mean, from the marina, I didn't go 10 minutes, and I was like, this is far enough. We're going to fish here until this lifts. Fished for about an hour and a half. It actually lasted a little longer than I expected. And within 1 minute, all of a sudden, clears up, it's gone, and you can see again. So it's best to wait. But there is no rule either. I mean, there is no general rule when you're running in the fog. I mean, generally, if you meet another boat, you go to the right, they go to the right, you just, avoid each other. But when you run up on each other in that short of a distance, the time you have to react is very short. And I'm never going to run faster than the minimum speed to get the boat up on top. Most places, even whenever I came to cutting into the flats, I just shut it down and idled for 100 yards, took some time to listen to my surroundings, listen if there was anybody around me before I attempted to take off again. And I will tell you that and so sometimes you get caught in the fog. Sometimes it sneaks up on you. We were at the marina and we launched, and I could see pretty good. I mean, I could see, 100 yards. I could see the shorelines around me. I could still navigate with plenty of time to react to any boat that was around me. When we got out there and started fishing, it just rolled in thick. That's when the lights went out. That's whenever I sent you the picture where you could not see. Hell, you couldn't see your lure splash the water when you cast it. It was thick. But there was I've been out there. So later in like January and February is when you have the afternoon fog, whenever the fog will roll in on you. So you took off in the morning, you've been fishing, you're out there, and then here comes the fog. So then you get caught in it. And sometimes you can be a long way from the house at that point. I was running across the flats, barely skimming, looking at the GPS, headed back to the marina, and out of the quiet, man, I heard somebody started blowing their whistle. Boom, shut it down right there, come to a stop. And I was like, hey. And the voice from the fog is like, hey. Could not see him, had no idea where he was. And I was like, I don't remember what my response was. And he goes, don't hit me. And I was like, I don't want to hit you. And then I idled, just went slow, never saw the other boat. But I mean, we were talking to each other like we were in the same room, could not see the boat in the fog. But that was one of those days that was unavoidable because it rolled in on me and I had to make the run to get home. In hindsight, on this past weekend, I should have sat at the dock and actually waited. But it was enough. I felt secure enough when I left because I could still see the shorelines. You could be in the middle of the intercoastal and you could still see the spoil islands. So that's plenty of time to react. But in the middle of that, like 30, 45 minutes later, it just rolled in. You couldn't see a boat length. It was some of the thickest fog I have seen. But my suggestion, my advice to anybody is don't go wait. It's temporary. You just postpone it.
Well, Scott, he covered a lot there, and it's a lot of good questions that I know you're going to have your answers for them. But obviously, the don't go is the easy answer. But as he mentioned, we've all been out there. Hell, I've been in crystal clear skies, and then it's like not even cloudy. I mean, just crystal clear. All of a sudden, here comes the fog wall, and you try to outrun it. You run into more fog because it's going everywhere. But what are some of the things that and your experiences? But what are some that you would recommend?
You can look on the horizon, and a lot of times you see that sea fog coming. It kind of looks like an ice wall. somewhat similar to that. Just went right over your head.
No, I know what you're talking about. Flat earthers. Yeah. I was letting you roll.
Now, I guess it was Saturday night. I was coming in from deer hunting across the way. I had customers down, shot us a big old deer, and I was literally looking at the side of the road. I was driving the Can-Am on the way back,
Mhm.
and I'm looking at the line where the grass and the gravel meet on my road, so that I could find my way back home. I mean, it
Jeez.
was thick, nasty. It was bad. And I came in, my hair was wet. It was like I got out of the shower. But as far as being on the water, I just avoid it. I mean, I hate the fog. And it's not me. I'm not worried about where I'm going and what I'm doing because I know my way around pretty well. It's all the other people that are flying through there. I hear people all the time on the days when it does happen where I get out there and it rolls in thicker. I hear them running full out.
I was just going to ask you about that. Yeah.
I'll listen to it. I hear airboats running full out. So what I do is I just pull to the shallowest, skinniest place I can get because I know damn good and well they're going to hit something before they get to me, except for airboats.
If you're listening to this podcast, then I know you're passionate about the outdoors. And you also live for those moments, not just fishing, sharing stories and laughs around that pit or grill. Texas Star Grill Shop is a proud sponsor of the Bite Me YouTube channel. Before you set off for your next outdoor adventure, don't forget to stop by Texas Star Grill Shop to pick up your bottle of OG sauce as well. Texas Star Grill Shop. The next time you catch those big fish, celebrate it around that grill. From Texas Star Grill Shop, proud sponsor of this Bite Me YouTube channel and the Bite Meat podcast. Subscribe today.
Now, as far as this question about which way to go, I mean, if you're head on to another boat, always go right. Just like you do on a road. And most people's reaction is to go right. Didn't happen to me in the center of the intercoastal this summer, but that guy just kept moving to the left. I have no idea why. I guess he was English. But no, Dean's right. It can roll in, it can sneak up on you. And the weirdest part about fog to me is, I mean, I've gone out in it before where I just idled along and stayed near a shoreline and watched where I was going. I was guiding Galveston at the time. I had a regular customer. We were sliding out there middle of the week, and I thought that I was somewhere else.
Oh, I've done that. Oh,
I thought
100%.
I had gone a long ways, and I turned into this little bayou, and I thought that I was in Greens, and I was not even to Greens yet. I was at Pierce Marsh. For those that know where I'm talking about, I was coming out of Louis. I wasn't even halfway there yet.
Yeah.
So we ended up fishing Pierce Marsh.
Yeah.
Until the sun came out. I don't know where we are exactly, but this is where we're going to fish.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, just if you get caught out in it and you can kind of wait it out, get near a shoreline, get some protection around you, and get up in the mouth of a cove or something, and kind of wait it out. As far as being at the dock and you're looking at it and it's too foggy to see across the intercoastal, just wait it out.
Yeah.
And
this Sunday, what I did actually, what Scott said, whenever we were out there and I heard a boat running across the flats, I kicked the troll motor into high gear and I went as shallow as I could. I was going to run my boat on ground because my thinking was they're going to hit ground before they hit me, is what I was kind of putting a little safety net between me and the boat that I actually heard running out there.
And it blows my mind how many people run full out.
Yeah.
In the fog. I mean, they're counting on a GPS. Well, your GPS doesn't have other boats on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was going to bring that up again also, just like Scott said. Like I said a minute ago, I'm looking at my GPS and I'm running. Of course, your GPS will tell you where you're at and the direction you're going. It does not tell you what's in front of you. It doesn't show other boats that are looking at their GPS. They don't talk to each other. So, man, it is one of the most dangerous situations you can be in out there. And with where I was, I could follow a shoreline. But could you imagine, like, you cutting across where you lose sight of all shorelines?
Yeah.
If you're in wide open water where you don't have an island to reference to, you can get off by 1 or 2 degrees in your angle, and you're going to land in a completely different area than you expect to.
Yeah. I always go ahead, Scott, after this, but I was just going to say, the sounds are to me the most important thing. I always idle, I'll drift and just fish if I'm in the situation that Dean was talking about, and just listen. I mean, even the smallest thing, could be a big key, and you need to get out of there.
Yeah. One of the worst fogs I was ever in was with me and Dean and Everett Johnson from Saltwater Fishing Magazine and Ruben Garza. We went out and it wasn't bad. We ran across the bay, went over, and we went into Pringle, and we got on that north shoreline of Pringle, and there was some reefs in there, and Everett saying, "Oh yeah, it's been loaded up with reds." About that time, this fog rolled in, and we couldn't see each other. And we're casting, and I could hear my lure. I could hear it working. It was dead slick calm, and I could hear
Yeah.
And you'd hear whoosh. I didn't know if it was mine getting hit or Dean's getting hit, and you didn't know until your rod got bent who got the hit. And we're talking to each other, but we can't see each other. It was a pretty wild morning. Yeah, it was rough. If you can't see Ruben Garza, it's bad.
And keep in mind, man, the next 3 months is fog season.
Yeah.
There will be more. And then if it's been warm-ish, it's been very mild. And when that is what creates fog. When the air and the water temperature cross paths, it creates basically fog or clouds on the surface. I forget exactly how it works. Scott can probably tell me. But when the water temperature meets, when the water's cooler, the air's cooler than the water. Then it creates basically a cloud. It's just moisture at the surface. So yes, the next 3 months, if we don't have, if we keep having these mild fronts that just drop the temperature so, and then they turn around, they back up, we will have a lot of foggy weather. It does come with a mild winter.
Yeah, and people have mentioned this on the live YouTube stream. Of course, I want to mention to you can do that every Tuesday at 3:30. You can watch us live and get in on the conversation and add to it. A lot of people like to listen to the podcast, and we really appreciate that. Thousands, in fact. We post that at 6 p.m. So I would suggest that you subscribe if you get the chance. And the Bite Me group page is where we get all these questions. If you are new to the podcast, last thing on this, because I definitely want to get to these next 2 topics for sure today. But have you guys ever had an experience of it going really, really bad in the fog, whether it was you or someone you knew, and one of those situations?
It was Micah Morgan, buddy of mine. He was sitting outside of the marina at Marker 37 or Snoopy's over in Baffin. He got broadsided by a running boat in the fog. He actually, luckily, everybody walked away from it. But as he was going slow, puttering in the fog, a boat came running and completely, at this last split second, the boat turned and hit the bow of his boat and ran up over the top of the boat. Everybody walked away from it, but he got hit at full speed in the fog by another boat.
Unbelievable. Scott?
No, I mean, I've heard of many of them. Yeah, nobody personally that I've had, but yeah,
I've seen them run into the jetties.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen
them running. I've been out there in Sabine. I saw them run into the jetties.
Yeah, the biggest, scariest one is people running down the intercoastal and running up under the front end of a barge. Is you can't see those barges. I mean, they're so big.
Low profile.
Oh yeah, you can see them, but they're low profile, and the way they sit in that fog, it's real hard to see those barges. There was one in Louisiana not that long ago that ran into the front end of a barge like that. It was a couple of years ago, but yeah, there's just no reason to be running fast in that stuff.
And the other thing is the navigation. Like if you're going down the intercoastal, the barges will get to one side or the other and just stop. And if that's the side that you usually run, you know, that's why you need to be going, as Dean said, just at the speed that you can get. Because I've almost, not I say almost, I mean, I had enough time to get out of the way, but I'm always running down the left side or the right side, you know, wherever I was at the time. And the barges are just, they'll stop there in the fog, you know?
I ran up on the back of a parked barge. It was actually when I had my place in Matagorda, we were going to East Bay, and I saw the antennas off the top of the tugboat before I saw the bottom of the barge. And one thing I want to make sure that our listeners understand, even running on plane at slow speed, you can't hear other boats. Your boat you're making so much noise. Don't trust that. I mean, do not trust. If you really want to hear what's going on around you, go at idle speed. Because even at slow speed, even mine, I mean, I got a Suzuki 4-stroke. It's a very, very quiet engine. But if you're on plane from the water splashing, the engine running, you're still not safe.
Yeah.
You're not 100%. So, you know, don't take running slow as a safety precaution that's going to make you safer.
Or the fog is not that bad. I'll see it in time to turn. That's another thing people do. Let's say you can see, you know, 300 yards or 200 yards or whatever. You're like, oh, that's plenty of time. It's not.
Man,
it's
live
not.
to fish another day.
Yeah. So I hope we help some people there, because I mean, even these, you know, crusty guys have been doing it their whole lives, and I'm a crusty guy. I've been doing it my whole life. We've all had that experience. I want to ask you guys this, because my favorite thing to do when I'm not fishing, and I'm really ticked off that I didn't fish today because it sounds like everybody was having a good day, is piddling around with my rods and reels and setups and all that stuff. And I definitely want to get to the Galveston thing here in a minute, because it's interesting. But I did think of this over the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. I know you guys have this, like you have different, we've talked about what rod for what situation, and if I'm throwing a top water, and the tip action, and you know, this lure meets this rod and all that. In fact, we did it just a couple of weeks ago. But what is your like perfect setup? Because I was this was actually last time I was down in Aransas Pass. I set up 3 rods exactly the same. Now they were different length rods, you know, and different action, because I put different lures on them for whatever situation. But Scott, I want to start with you on this, because I actually finished the last one and I said, that's it. This is my new perfect setup. And over the years, you know, 20 years ago, maybe it was an All-Star with a Corrado or whatever. But my perfect setup, and people ask us this, you know, all the time. I know you get it on your boat all the time, and I'm gonna get to Dean in a second, but like, you know, what's your setup? It's a common term, like rod, reel, line, leader, jig heads, baits, just on what you're fishing with. And I can just say right now, I got that sawgrass. I generally go with the 6.5. The bait salty hundos on 3 of them. I got to talk about Seaguar real quick though here, and this is not to be a total shill, because you've mentioned it in the past several times, Scott. We don't put stuff in our hands. We just don't, because we value fishing that much, unless it's proven and we trust it and all that. So I use the Seaguar braid, which is relatively new. You've heard them talking about that here on the podcast. But this Seaguar Grand Max leader, brother, it is so good, so light, so sensitive. That's my setup, along with, of course, the DOA shad tail that we always talk about here, and the terrorized jig head. So like if somebody said to me, and I know they're curious what you guys, you know, quote unquote, your perfect setup, even though you do change some things, I would say that's it. What's like, if you had to just set up one rod, regardless, Scott, of what you're going to do that day, what would your setup be?
I can only have one rod.
Well, set up 4 rods with the perfect setup, 5, whatever it is.
All 4 the same?
Like what's your go-tos, basically, is what I'm asking.
Yeah.
A lot of people ask that.
My sight casting rod is that one that I whooped Dean and Caleb with.
It always comes back to that.
That's a sawgrass.
Why has it got to be like that?
It always comes back to that.
Well, I mean, the proof's there. But it's a sawgrass. It's a drop shot rod. It's actually a bass fishing drop shot rod. It just has the right action and the right feel for me to pitch those close reds. And if I'm throwing that, it's going to be with probably the Aldebaran, the Shimano Aldebaran. And then I forgot which braid I put on that one, but it's one of the slick braids from Seagar. I don't remember which one. I can't remember the name of it, but it's their tight weave.
Yeah.
And then I've got probably 16-pound fluorocarbon. I've got Seagar on that, and then I've got a little paddle tail, little small paddle tail, and I've got a belly weighted hook on there, like a swim bait style hook, so I can get it through the grass without worrying about hanging up on anything. And that's my go-to day in, day out sight casting to reds.
I think you're talking about, is it the Smackdown? The Smackdown line?
Maybe that was it.
The Smackdown is what I use, and that's good.
It's a very slick, very smooth, very slick. I like that for sight casting. It just comes off the reel nice and smooth, and I can do that pitching with it, and it's very effective. Picking off those close fish. Now, if I got to go topwater, that's what I want to go throw. Most of the time is topwater. It's going to be probably a 6 or 6.5 foot medium action rod. Probably going to have a Tranks 151 on it. Either that or a Corrado. And same thing though, the braid and the leader don't change. And then either a DOA little PT7. I need it to be quiet, or I got a lot of weeds. And if I don't have that, then it's going to be a little Spook Junior and single hooks on a Spook Junior. That's going to get me done. I can fish that all day long.
Yeah, and I think it's the Smackdown. I just looked it up while you were talking. That's what I throw on the braided line, and that Grand Max. If Grand Max costs a little more, but if you want the one that is really, really good as well, it's the yellow label, the gold label. I don't even know what it's called, but the Seagar leader, the gold label is real good. Dean, I knew this was going to be popular with our listeners. We're getting some comments here on the live YouTube stream. People want to know what we throw. What do you throw? What's your setup?
Well, I mean, I keep a variety on the boat every day. Myself personally, which I'm a topwateraholic. That's well established. I mean, I'll grind it out on a topwater all day, every day. But man, it's hard to say. I mean, and that's why I wanted.
See, that's why I wanted to. You got to pick. You got one rod, man.
I wanted Scott to go first because I just wanted to listen for a minute. Myself, my personal favorite that whenever I go fishing every day is a 6'9" Carbon Max Waterloo rod, which is a medium action, fast tip. It's great for topwaters. It weighs like air. It weighs absolutely nothing. With the baits reel, with the 8-to-1 retrieve. I mean, I like a little faster retrieve.
Yeah. So David asked about our gear ratios. I've done the 7. You do the 8. Scott, what do you do?
I like a high gear ratio, especially for sight casting, because you miss. I don't miss, but if you miss,
here we go again.
If you miss, people. I can't tell you how often I say burn it in from my polling platform, because they're 3 feet off the fish and behind it, and if you've got a faster retrieve, that's just a little bit less time you got that lure in the wrong place. Get it back in, get another cast in. So that's why I like a fast retrieve. I can always slow it down.
Yeah.
So if I need to slow it down for any reason, working a lure, that's not a problem. So having that extra speed on there kind of comes in handy.
But go ahead, Dean. I cut you off there when we got the question about the gear ratio.
And the vast majority of reels that you buy over the counter are going to be somewhere in the 7-to-1 ratio.
That's what I have.
They're in stock, but you have to specify the really high ratios. Generally speaking, the ones that you're going to find are in the 7-to-1 range.
But what about the rest of your
7-to-1 and 8-to-1?
The people want to know, Dean. The people want to know.
And then
line leader,
and of
jig
course
head.
the cigar that you spoke of. All of my reels are spooled with cigar, and I use a much lighter line. I use 10 or 15 pound braid. It definitely will cast further. The criticism is that when you get tangles, they're harder to pick out, but I don't get tangles.
Oh, you too. I got to brag about something now. I just can't think of anything.
I don't throw backlashes. No, everybody does. It's part of the deal. And then a 15 or a 20 pound fluorocarbon leader, all of the ones that you mentioned, I have been going with the gold label is what I've been using.
Gold is reliable. It's good. Yeah.
I've been using that. The gold is it's a little more abrasive. There's another one. I don't remember which
The blue
one.
label, I think you're thinking of.
Okay, well, the blue label is a little thicker than the gold label.
Okay.
I have both of them because right here at my table where I do this, I also rig up all my rods and reels. So I'm surrounded by all of my lines and leaders and rod reels. So makes it easy for quick reference questions like you
You're cheating
today to go to the inventory. But yes, 15 or 20 pound fluorocarbon on a Bone Spook Junior is and it's those are specific to the flats of South Texas. We're talking the grass beds, the shallows. Long cast, lighter line is going to give you more distance. You risk a few tangles, but it's part of the deal. Casting a lot further in ultra shallow, crystal clear water is an advantage, covering more water. So a 6'9" or even a 7-foot rod is going to give you a little more distance than a 6'6". 6'6" is going to be more accurate because you gauge where you're releasing it. The trick to accuracy is the release, where you let that thing go is going to help you hit your target with a shorter pole. So a longer rod will cover a little more distance. But with practice, you can be just as accurate with a 6'9" or a 7-foot. It just does require a little more practice and experience with that particular rod.
For the top water, I just like a little shorter rod that I can work it a little more aggressively and not have to worry about it, wearing out my forearm,
And that is true. 100% agree with Scott.
And is there 20 pounds, Scott?
Well, you're transferring the energy from the tip of your rod to the lure. So it requires a little less effort on the wrist.
Scott, what about the weight of the line and the lead? Just for the record, I use 20-pound line, the cigar braid, and then 20-pound leader.
The sight casting one I use 20 and it's real fine. I want it to come off the reel smoother and easier. The top water I've got 30 quite often, and the leader is usually that 16-pound that
the Grand Max.
Yeah, the 16-pound Grand Max. So yeah, it's pretty simple. I don't get too worried about all that. They all work. I mean, honestly, all the different labels, the different colored labels, they're all going to work for most everything that you do. I mean, the cigar's just got good stuff. I'm really, really pleased with it. And what knot do you use for your braid to leader? I use a variety of that too. Like on that little drop shot rod, it's got those little bitty tiny micro eyes. That's the only thing I would change about that rod if I could. I would put some bigger eyes on it. But for that, anytime I've got those small eyes, or if I need the knot to go through real easy, I'm going to use that FG on the small stuff. Can't use it on the tarpon. It doesn't work. On the big lines, the 60 and 80 pound fluorocarbon, the FG, I just can't get it to hold and it won't seat on there real well. I'm going to try it on some mono and see if it'll work better. But on fluorocarbon, it's like that hard shell on that heavy stuff. It just doesn't want to seat. Then after about, I don't know, 20 or 30 casts, everything goes flying off. Knot just kind of unravels. But on the small stuff, that FG knot is, I mean, it's golden.
It's perfect. And I know that's what you use, Dean.
Now the line-to-line uni knot.
Oh, the uni. Yeah, the uni. That's what I was thinking for sure. And one other thing, real quick. Go ahead.
Yeah, with
I-
bigger eyes on it, yeah, the uni's great.
Mm-hmm.
But if you got those little tiny micro eyes, micro guides, which I don't really care for much, you got to get a smaller knot to go through them.
Drives me nuts, crazy when somebody has a leader on their pole that brings the knot up into the eyes.
Me
Tick,
too.
tick, 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 tick. And when
Me
they
too.
cast, tick, 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 tick,
Oh
going
God,
out.
you've
It's
seen
like,
me. You've
I
seen
will
me.
grab that thing.
Yeah.
I will cut it off, and I'm like, let me help you out here. It's I will tie just enough leader that is required to cast.
I'm so bothered by that. If I have a long leader by accident, you're just kind of tying or whatever.
And
I'll still just I won't bring it to the eyes. I'll just sling with all that extra line on it.
Hey, if you tie an FG knot, you don't got to worry about that.
Yeah, well,
now I need to add the FG to my repertoire.
Yeah,
it's really not that hard. People talk about it being all complicated, and it's not that hard. You can knock it out quick.
One more thing on this, real quick. The colored lines. I use that neon on that SmackDown. If you have a leader, people tend to get into their own heads about the brightly colored line. I love it. I love it, and it's not an old or young thing. I don't care who you are. I think, Gene, I think I've seen you with some of that lime green line. As long as you have a good leader, yeah, it's perfect. You can see it better. You can, obviously work it better. The whole 9 yards.
So I have recently been experimenting with the flash green. It's neon green. It's very bright. For many years, I went with the moss green.
That's what I did.
It blends in, looks like a blade of grass in the water. I have not found any problem with the bright green lines. I have never really, they got neon yellow, they got some red out there.
Pink, hot pink.
Quite a bit. But I just like the flash green because it's chartreuse, and how many fish eat chartreuse lures. So
I just think you can see it. I'm doing it for my purposes. You can just see it good. I don't know how you feel about that, Scott.
Yeah, I'd use some of that and put it on a couple of customer rods, and was kind of pleased with it because then I can see where they cast.
Yeah.
When I'm looking for fish and I look away from which way they cast, I can glance back over there and I can tell exactly where they're at.
Yeah. All right. Before we get out of here, I said I want to get to this. By God, we're gonna get to this because this was really on me. We were talking last week about changing water temps. There was a relatively big water temp change last week that kind of prompted that discussion, and got a question from a listener. Didn't get his name, and I won't read the question, but basically he was saying that was awesome. Love the discussion in terms of tides, how they're going to affect, in the cooler weather and the drop-offs and the cooler water temp and all. He goes, that was awesome. But then he noted, and he's 100% right. I'm falling on the sword here. We really just covered Port O'Connor, Matagorda, Port O'Connor, Aransas Pass, and down south. And he's like, I fish in Galveston. Is there any way you guys can talk about is what the effect is of some of these things? Because Galveston, totally different, bottom, totally different conditions, huge bay system. Scott, I'm going to start with you here. With the water temps dropping, you can fish from Trinity all the way down south, it's such a big system. And you want to know, hey, can you guys cover Galveston and all these changes that are happening and will happen? It's a regular stop for me, and it should be for you too. Anglers Anonymous in Katy. It's a candy store for fishermen that's going to make your head spin and help make you a better fisherman. You got to see the expanded store too, and you got to chat it up with Mike and Chris Butler, all the guys at Anglers Anonymous. They'll answer your questions honestly, and they'll get you what you need. Reels, rods, lures, they have it all, and apparel that's off the chart. And of course, the calling card service. Real repair, they turn it around for you quickly, and you will be happy. That's Anglers Anonymous in Katy or anglersanonymous.tx.com.
Generally in the winter, I waded waist deep and waded in mud. And the South Shore line of West Bay, all those coves over there, Maggie's and all that, that was where I hung out a lot. East Bay, you're wading the shorelines and you're staying waist to, don't go over your waders kind of depth. And some days you're throwing out, some days you're throwing in. Depends on what the what the temperature is and how sunny it is. If it starts getting real sunny and you're fishing later in the afternoon, they're going to move up onto those flats and get up in those coves. For years, that was the way to go on the big trout over in West Bay. We had a lot more access back then. We could drive in and go through cow pastures and get to it. Now you got to take a boat, and a lot of those coves have been built up over the years. They got houses on them now, so there's probably not as productive as it used to be, but same kind of deal. It doesn't take much of a water change, in depth in order to hold some fish. Just figure out what level that they're wanting to be at. They want to be up tight to the shorelines, or they want to be a little bit further out, or they want to be where your chest. I've done it before where water lapping over the top of the waders, getting you and throwing straight out and working deep like that. You don't have the flats and the drop offs quite as much. Like the north shoreline of West Bay, you got all that grass up there. It's a real shallow grass flat. And then it has a drop off to 3 or 4 feet. And that shelf right there, I caught a lot of fish on that shelf in the winter, just right off the edge of it. Sun would come out, it'd warm up like it did today. Those fish move right back up onto that grass flat. They're near wherever they want to be shallow to feed. They're not far away.
Yeah.
They don't just like up and wholesale move unless it's a severe winter front.
And the only other thing I was thinking, and Dean, I know you've spent your share time in Galveston, so maybe you can hop in on this, that I was thinking of is it does help to have some old gas well marks or structure marks, because when the water does drop out and it does get a little cooler, it seems like those seem to be pretty prime. At least they have been for me.
The majority of my experience was Chocolate Bayou, Chocolate Bay, and the south end of West Bay. The south end of West Bay, on the Galveston Island side, has changed dramatically in the past 10 years. I mean, there's anything that was available to build a house on it probably has a house on it now. There are still a lot of marshy shorelines at where Chocolate Bay meets West Galveston Bay. There's a big an island out there called Alligator Head, Alligator Island, goes by a few different names. But I mean, if you listen to what we say about the other bay systems and apply it without thinking about the name, just thinking about the scenarios, I find them to be very similar. Chocolate Bay, Chocolate Bayou is way inland, protected compared to the big wide open other bay systems. So Chocolate Bayou has a lot of reefs in it, a lot of bayous that run it's just super marshy. Hall's Bayou, where the mouth of Hall's Bayou that comes out, that big corner of Chocolate Bay is protected from the north wind. It's got some amazing shorelines to get behind, super muddy bottom. Do not step out.
Yeah. Oh, that's
part
for
of the
sure.
world.
Scott, I'm curious. Go ahead, Dean.
No, it's just, but those were always classic wintertime stuff. And when I think about what we do here in the wintertime, where you're looking for pockets that are going to hold warmer water, places where the wind is going to blow warmer surface water into an area, the same thing would apply there. But the muddy bottom does retain heat. And even so, where we're at now, our water temperature today came up to 62 degrees by the time I was done. So we're, when you start talking about the mud warming up the water, that's when the water temperature is down around 50, or staying below 55 for a good period of time. Then you start to rely on muddy flats and where the fish are actually snuggling down into the mud to warm up and stuff like that. So we haven't reached that part of winter yet.
Yeah, Scott, the only thing I wanted to ask you in addition to that is that what Dean said is right, but the deeper water is a lot deeper, in Galveston, and maybe that's what your thoughts are on the structure and the deeper water in the Galveston system.
Yeah, growing up, I mean, that's we waded chest deep and started throwing.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we started off our day. I started fishing down south, and I was still doing the same thing when I got here to Port O'Connor the first time. I waded out chest deep, me and my buddy standing next to each other.
Hey, they're behind you.
And what happened was that was way back in the day when we wore Converse high tops for our wading boots and jeans. And I could feel my shoe coming untied, so I waded back up shallow so I could tie my shoe back. And a school of reds was swimming past me while I was kneeling down in the water to tie my shoe. I was like, oh, this is where they are. Well, by then the sun came up, and then we could see all those sandy potholes in the grass, and everybody had told me about that. And I was like, all right, now I see what they're talking about. Or hitting those.
Life hasn't been the same since.
No, he's been a different man ever since.
Next thing you know, I'm moving down here.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, about 20 years later, I moved.
Yeah.
But Galveston, it seemed like we caught more fish a little deeper and waist deep and casting out on up to armpit deep in the summer. There was a lot of time I hated doing it, but there was times that's how you had to. The only way you could wade.
Reeling like this, you got your rod and reel over your head.
I look back at it, it's like, why in the hell were we out of the boat?
Yeah,
that was kind of dumb.
Yeah,
but that's what everybody did. That's how we fished.
Yeah.
The only time we stayed in the boat is that we were drifting deep reef over in East Bay or drifting the gas wells, all that, and up in Trinity. Other than that, man, we were wade fishing.
That's what I was talking about. The gas wells in Trinity is where I would find a lot of good fish on those things. And they're not even sticking out of the water anymore, I heard. I haven't been there in a long time.
Yeah, they took most everything's been taken down.
But I'm sure I still got them on my marks. I'm sure I still do. I need to try that sometime. Well, let's get to what would Scott do and what would Dean do. But Dean, did you get you got the gear, huh? You got the Bite Me gear?
I got the Bite Me gear, man. I got my package today.
Scott, did you get yours?
I have not got it yet.
Oh, come on, man.
I live down the boonies, man.
That UPS guy in Port O'Connor. I mean, come on.
Hey, man, look, it's the Christmas delivery season, man. The truck is packed. It's going to take them a while.
That usually doesn't hit my house until after dark.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Christmas season, before we wrap this up today, I had an idea this week. Had a conversation with another podcast fan, and we were sitting there talking about how difficult it is at this time of year because it is the best fishing of the year. It is hunting season, and it is the holiday season where your family wants you to visit. You got to be here. You got to be there. There's always something going on. I'm going to start a petition that we move Thanksgiving and Christmas to August and September.
I'm with you on Thanksgiving. I actually said this on my other show. Thanksgiving, the first Thanksgiving was in September. Did you know that?
Well, if we could change the Bible and get baby Jesus' birthday moved to a different star or something, that
we'd be good.
So we need to fill up that heat of summer with the holidays and leave this part of the year for serious hunting and fishing.
So we can get away.
I think if we get enough signatures that we can actually make this thing happen.
I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong. And don't forget, shoot out for Christmas is always a good gift.
Yes. And from that still, and I mean, Christmas is what's today?
2-3 weeks.
Oh man, plenty of time to get your orders in to be there before Christmas. It comes with a bonus 8-foot length of rope to tie to the boat with all orders before Christmas.
And of course,
don't miss that free offer.
Don't miss that. Book a trip for Christmas with Captain Dean or Captain Scott. You can contact them through the group page. You can buy some Bite Me gear. And I think I just got to notice that your better half posted something about the Bite Me gear, Dean. So that's good. You can buy that on the group page on Facebook, and you can buy a brand new General for Christmas for that special someone, right, Scott?
Oh man,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Put that in your stocking.
At a great, well, I don't know about that. at a great price. All right. What would Scott do? What would Dean do? I'm looking at it today, as I always do. the forecast is getting better. It wasn't that great earlier in the week. Well, I say earlier in the week, it's Tuesday, Sunday. And it seems to be getting a little better. Wind's getting a little better. It was supposed to be rainy all weekend. It doesn't look like, maybe just Friday a little bit and Sunday, but Saturday's open. What are you going to do, Scott?
Currently, it says 1 gusting to 3.
Yeah, and it was a lot worse than that earlier in the week.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday it was ripping.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's holding in there good. Friday, Saturday, Sunday afternoons when the next front is supposed to
Mhm.
hit. A little
Mhm.
bit of rain ahead of that front Sunday morning, but yeah, Friday and Saturday wide open, man. I mean, you got sunshine, got temperatures in the afternoons hitting the high 60s, low 70s. It was 72 degrees when I got off the water today.
Mhm.
Those fish are moving up, getting shallow again. There was plenty of bait up on the flats. That's your main key, is start watching that bait, and whatever the bait's doing. Early it was hanging off the edges, and then as the day wore on, it moved up onto the flats. Fish followed up. So pay attention. We're in that time of year where there's not as much bait as there was through the spring and summer, and you can key in more on bait now.
Mhm.
Start watching that a little bit closer. And a lot of the reds today were tailing big schools of mullet. And we had some giant mullet schools moving out of the bayous and stuff. And every school seemed like it had a redfish or two tailing along behind it.
Well, that's good. And
Yep. The rest
and by
of
the way,
this week, it looks amazing.
yeah, just you, and if you wade, it's probably a good time to get wading. There's some good wading spots down there right now, I'm
Yep.
guessing.
And we have high tide in the morning and just ripping out throughout
That's what you want.
through the day. So great wind, perfect temperatures, man.
Mhm.
Today, oh
Yeah.
I mean,
It
to
was
be
a little chilly
outdoors.
What's that, Scott?
This morning it was a little chilly.
A little chilly on that run out this morning.
Oh, okay.
I actually had gloves on this morning, which, man, that goes right there with pants. You know, it doesn't happen often. But but man, it warmed up fast today. It's sunshine and light wind. I mean, we were pulling off hoodies and layers pretty quick. And towards the end of the day, it was absolutely perfection, which, I mean, it looks like we're going to have that the rest of this week until Sunday. So you might be in luck, John.
How about that? How about that? And if you do wade chest deep, like Scott and I used to in the Galveston and Trinity areas, that, you hear them bringing you this segment all the time. I mean, that wade right belt. I like the real light, real small. Get it right up here. Boom, you're good to go.
Wear your waders.
Wear your waders for sure.
It is stupid pants season.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's time to find all them leaks from last year.
I got a brand new pair, man. Got a
All
brand
right,
new
baby.
pair of waders this year.
Not a baby. All right, fun show, a lot covered, man. And I checked all the boxes. We got a lot of. I sent you guys far too big of a rundown this week, so we're already set for next week, damn near.
Yeah, I saw that thing. I started reading it. I went.
I printed out.
Wishful thinking.
I got 3 pages here of my notes and
I thought the same thing when I looked at it. I was like, "This is a pretty."
It's a manifesto.
Yeah.
It was a manifesto. All right, boys. That was fun. Thanks to Caleb. Man, you guys caught a bunch of fish today. I can't wait. But you guys have a great week, great weekend. Catch them up, and we'll talk to you next time.
And don't forget that we're going to get that petition circulated. I want a lot of signatures before next July.